Good evening, Eric. Thanks for joining. Thanks a lot, and welcome to my channel. Can we start with a short introduction from you?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thanks for having me on this podcast. My name is Evertson Croes, now 30 years old. I live in the Netherlands, born on the island of Aruba. I moved to the Netherlands when I was 18 years old to study IT, and I did 4 years of IT and then for my bachelor's, and then 2 years for computer science for my master's. And I've been working at this company called Luminis for 5 years now, almost 6 years. September will be 6 years. And I do a lot of things. Started a bit with mobile development, then moved on to more hybrid solutions for mobile. So think of Cordova and Angular and stuff like that, combinations. And moving also then to backend Java. And now I'm doing a lot in the cloud. So I've done a bit of everything in the short time that I've been programming.
Wow. So it's mostly mobile, web, and cloud.
Yeah, but I think mobile has been a long time for me, so I only did it like 1 or 2 months in my first uh, time working at Luminous. But after that, is usually like mostly web and app and backend,
Okay.
and now cloud. So I think like 2 years actually doing stuff with AWS and with Amplify and stuff like that.
Okay. I've seen you are quite active on the Amplify Discord channel.
Yeah, that's true. I've joined recently. I think 3 weeks ago, someone posted something in the community builders Slack, and then I thought, oh, I'm gonna join it. And every day now, I just look at it and see if there are any questions I can answer. But of course, I
Okay.
can't answer all of the questions. But maybe once in a while, I'll try to answer something. Yeah.
Wow. So how do you find this domain?
Yeah, so yeah, a few things. I mean, with Amplify, it's a long story, but like well, with Amplify, it started I think with me 2 years ago. I have my besides working at Luminous, I have also another group that I program with in my free time. They're called Palmera Bytes. Palmera means palm trees, but in Spanish, and bytes, from megabytes and gigabytes.
Okay.
Palmera Bytes. And with this group, we wanted to build an app. And at some point, we wanted to build something really fast, but also cheap. So you think of the cloud is very good for startups because you can use serverless. You can pay only for what you use instead of paying to reserve something to run the whole time. So we thought, yeah, we want to do something with cloud, but we're not really cloud experts at the moment. But we only know really how to do front end very well with React and stuff like that. So we started searching and we found Amplify, which promises to help you make web and mobile applications really quickly, a very fast way, and also because you're using the cloud, it's cheap. So we started using it like when it was like version 0.1, really early, like when it started, before it had really a fancy page like it has now.
Mm.
And we started using it for 2 years. And yeah, the nice thing I like about Amplify specifically is like we're in a space right now where cloud is becoming everything. Everyone's talking about the cloud, but and there are some people that are focusing on becoming really good cloud experts. So they're getting the certifications and they're learning how it really works, how the services work, and also cloud formation and stuff, really technical stuff. But there's also a group of people, like even at Luminous where I work now, that like are really good at front end developing, but they don't really want to invest too much into the cloud. They really like doing what they do now. And what I like about Amplify is even with this group on Metabytes, we learned the basics of Amplify and we got our application like live on the cloud using Amplify. And because it's also JavaScript in the front end and in the back end, we only had to learn that with the whole group, and we could program the whole stack. So that was for us. For our specific scenario, it was a very good tool, and we were able to use the power of the cloud without being cloud experts. So that's the reason why we started with it. And now you see 2 years later, it's becoming like really one of the big things in AWS, which is concerned with front end. So it's going in the right direction. A lot of new things are coming up with Amplify. I don't work for Amplify or anything. I'm just really excited
Mhm.
about it. So yeah, I'm really glad we took that option, and that's how I got started with it. And I still think that's a good place for anyone that wants to start with the cloud but doesn't want to dive head deep into like the real technicalities of it. Yeah, you can start with Amplify and really start to get your hands a bit dirty and use the power of it without, you know, having to become an expert on day one. So yeah.
Cool. So you're mainly focused on AWS or other clouds as well?
Me personally, more focused on AWS. Yeah, I have done a little bit with Azure and not much on Google Cloud. A bit with Firebase also, so a bit with Google Cloud. But yeah, my focus is more on AWS. I also have a certificate in AWS, and at Luminis also we are more focused on AWS, but we also have some Azure. Yeah.
Okay. Because people still tend to prefer Firebase over Amplify, or it's not so anymore. Like, what do you feel?
Good question. Well, I think right now Firebase is still more known. I think it's more popular and it's been around longer than Amplify, and it has a more, even now it has a more stable feeling than Amplify, even in my opinion.
Okay.
I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it's just it's been longer, and I don't know, but I can also understand that maybe people that have used Amplify in the first years maybe sometimes have a bit of a bad experience with it if something went wrong at some point, and also with the breaking changes and stuff like that. But that's also something that comes out of having something open sources and having something new. You're gonna at some point have to make breaking changes. So I think now is like a good time to get started with it, with Amplify, because it's really matured over the years. And
Okay.
I can't say one to one, which one has more functionality and stuff like that, but I know you can get a lot done with Amplify.
Okay. So now, if a newcomer wants to enter the market, he can choose Amplify over other systems.
Well, unless you have a restriction that you have to use Google Cloud, for example, because of a project, then yeah, then it's not an option because Amplify is
Yeah.
only AWS. So then maybe you could look into some other solutions. I think Terraform, or there's a new one. I forgot the name now, Cloud Pain or something like that. But there are more and more also from these solutions where you declare your infrastructure in a declarative way, and it's cloud agnostic. So it can be on any one of those. So that's, I haven't experienced that much experience with it yet. So I'm very focused on Amplify right now,
Okay.
but something I want to look into also. Yeah.
Oh. And what front-end technologies you said, Angular as well as React you have worked on?
Yeah. So at Luminis, we primarily use Angular, but also a bit of React. And in that other group I have for Metabytes, we only do React JS.
Okay.
So that's the front end part. Yeah.
And the problem with this front-end technologies or even mobile hybrid technologies is that, like for the fresh graduates, there is too much of a option, too much of variety available. So people
Yeah.
get confused, which one should I take up?
Yeah, that's always, and
How
it's
would you
it's
suggest?
changing. It's changing, constantly changing. It's a front end. The front end world, eco space, is the one that is developing faster than the rest. It's always like, oh, here's a new one. Here's Vue.js again. Here's Next.js. Here's the next thing is coming up. Probably in a few months we will have a new one. Flutter is here now. So. Yeah, it's constantly evolving, and I can understand that it can be overwhelming for some people, and it's also hard to be like, what should you invest your time in, and what should you become a developer in if you want a job, because in the back end, you learn Java or your .NET and you're pretty safe. You're going to find a job. It doesn't change as fast as, oh, I'm going to be a Vue developer. Maybe in a few months it's not relevant anymore. So
Yeah.
that's pretty, I think right now Angular and React are pretty safe bets, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. And on the hybrid mobile side, which ones you said, Cordova and React Native?
Yeah, you have Cordova, React Native, Ionic is also something like Cordova, I think, and I don't know if you have. Yeah, is Flutter is also a hybrid, right? I think so, for mobile development.
Yeah,
So
Flutter
yeah,
promise that they will give the web sometime, someday, but it's still
yeah,
waiting.
yeah. No, it's mobile right now, but it goes to both iOS and Android.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I have experience with Cordova, and that's it, Cordova and Angular. So I haven't looked into Flutter yet or React Native. I've heard
Okay.
good things. Yeah.
Okay. So you said you have a group of developers who work on some projects. Like, is it a hobby or kind of a startup or?
Yeah, I can talk a bit more about that. So, like I said, 2 years ago, a friend of mine, JD is his name, and he had the idea of, right now there's a lot of demand for developers. There's like a lot of jobs and people need developers, and we don't have developers. And he was looking around in his friend group, and he saw some people that he thought, maybe he can help them, teach them how to program without having to go into a whole school education and get a diploma.
Mhm.
Maybe we can just, do a few things on Free Code Cam and Udemy, or Pluralsight, or those things, or YouTube, and then teach them how to code, and then maybe they can get a job in IT without a diploma. So he approached me and he was like, "Hey, what do you think about this idea?" I said, "Oh, that's a very nice idea. I think very humble, very good idea to try to help some of our friends." So the group started off as that, as a sort of learning group together, and it grew and it grew. And at one point, I think we had maybe 20 people in the group, so it's pretty big. And it was only people from Aruba, so it's people from Aruba that came to the Netherlands. So that was the group. And then at some point, some people dropped off because they weren't serious, they weren't taking it, and eventually the group got smaller. But the people that stayed, they all got a job in the Netherlands for the IT without getting a diploma. So they now were working, and they're still part of the Palmera Bytes. So after that was done, we decided, hey, we have all of this knowledge now: React, we have Amplify, we've been doing sprints, for Scrum and stuff like that. Um, we have Confluence, blah blah blah. So we thought, hey, why not use this now to let's make our own applications, using the stack. So that's how it started. So right now it's just a group, so it's not registered yet as a company. Although we are planning of doing this in September to start as a company.
Mhm.
But right now it's just a group of 7 guys. So we have 5 developers, one UX designer, and also growth hacker, kind of marketing guy, and one guy that does project management and Scrum, and stuff like
Oh,
that, and does a lot of things for us on Confluence and stuff like that. And that's the group right now. So we want to start it as a company in September, but that's, yeah. So you can sort of look at it like a startup, sort of,
okay.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
so you have some product in mind that's coming up, or
yeah,
how?
we have a product right now. The first one we created with Amplify, that is called Collaby. That's KOLLABY.com, but it's
Okay.
only currently available in mobile. So you have to go on your phone and then the Collaby.com, and then it will work. We're currently
Okay.
working on the desktop version though. So I think maybe in a month or two there will be uh, a desktop version of this. But it's an event planning app. So and it's built on Amplify. So Amplify and React.js. So it's using the
Oh,
stack, and also hosted on AWS. So really, right now we don't have any users because it's in beta testing. And the choice we made to do it in the cloud means that the whole year that we don't have users, we only pay like 30 cents or something, instead of
okay.
paying. So it's for startups. It's really a good setup. But yeah, that's an open beta version, so anyone can use it right now. But we're working. We have another version that's working in the background, and once it's live, then there will also be things like you can purchase a subscription and get a lot of extra features and stuff like that. But
Okay.
in the behind that, we also have more applications coming up. So this is something where, like, our first application that we learned a lot from learning
Mhm.
from Amplify, learning from React, and we got a lot of our best practices that we want to use for our next applications. And we think, yeah, going forward, we will be able to build things more quickly with
Okay.
that experience. Yeah,
I opened the site here. It shows a QR code, and so
yeah.
maybe I'll have to open it on the mobile to see the real one.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because right now it has a placeholder for desktop, but
Okay.
we're slowly building it up. It was an idea to first try it out like this for mobile, just to get, like, a place to test it and see if people would like it or not. And now we're
Mhm.
actually building it out in desktop and stuff like that. And it's also going to come out in Android and iOS stores. We're going to make
Okay.
it into an app. Yeah.
So like about these mobile hybrid frameworks like Cordova or Ionic, and when they are so simply available, Why do people still prefer Android? Like, is it worth learning Android development using Java? Old
Or
story.
or Kotlin, indeed. Yeah, yeah. It's a big investment to learn Android development or iOS. And if you're a company now that wants to make a mobile app, then it's a really tough choice to go for Android and iOS natively because it's hard to find. I think those developers. It's an investment. While if you can do something like React Native or something like that, or maybe even easier, maybe with Cordova, you lose you do lose that experience, that user experience of the native experience. You feel it. I think every user can feel it a bit. Now, this is Cordova. This is a Cordova app. It's not
Okay.
an Android or an iOS app, but you do save a lot on the expertise that you need to have, and you can share your code base over Android and iOS. That's the big selling point. Um, but in my experience, I've worked on an application for 5 years using Cordova. Um, the benefits are there, but people always make that comment that they can feel that it's like a web app in a container,
Okay.
contained web app. So it depends on what you're going for. If you have the budget, I think native is always a better experience. If you somehow have that money and you can find the
Mhm.
people, I think always Android and iOS natively will still always be the best choice, but it's not always the best choice for your company, maybe in your
Okay.
situation. So that's the thing. Yeah.
But from the point of view of a developer, it's worth learning those technologies.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think because you will be one of the few. A lot of people are learning JavaScript right now. I think, and I think it's worth it. Especially iOS. I think is we're a developer right now. So if you can learn that, I think you will find it. You will be able to find some jobs for that. It depends on where companies are going, and that's something I don't have a view on right now because maybe some
Okay.
companies are saying, you know, yeah, that's nice that you have a nice user experience, but we rather save some money and use the developers we have now already, and just teach them a bit about Cordova, and they can use the JavaScript knowledge. So, um, yeah, it's hard. It depends on what companies want to do, but I think from a user experience, the best apps are always going to be native.
You have been part of the AWS Builders community.
Yeah.
How do you contribute there in blogs or talks
Yeah,
or how?
yeah, good point. I think it's nice to talk about that a bit and how it works. Yeah, first of all, how I got into it is, um, at Luminis we're doing a lot right now with cloud development, and we want to do as much as possible with blogging and making videos and whatever we can, speaking at conferences. So. I've been doing a few of these things, so speaking at like meetups and blogging about Amplify and AWS and stuff like that, and I also give a training in AWS. So I did it internally and one time for an external client.
Mhm.
Just like a 4 hour course of this is the introduction to Amplify, and we do it together like a hands-on training seminar
Oh,
thing. So I did all of this, and at some point I saw that. Um, the people at AWS themselves, they had also such a workshop. So I thought, hey, I'm going to go to that workshop so I can compare it to my workshop and stuff like that.
mhm.
And then afterwards, they sent a survey like, hey, what do you think about our workshop? I answered it, and then they wanted to talk to me based on my answers. They contacted me like, hey, we want to talk a bit more about your answers. You gave a lot of detailed answers. So we got to talking with someone from AWS, or I got to talking, and then at some point they asked me, "Oh, okay, what are the things that Luminous does with AWS?" And they also asked me, "What are the things that you do for AWS and stuff like that?" So I listed out a few things, the things that I mentioned to you, and they said, "Oh, if you do all of these things, maybe it's worthwhile to apply for the community builder." So I thought, "Oh, okay, I'll apply to it." And then that's how I got in. So using those things, and that's still the type of things that I'm doing now. So still, I'm writing a blog right now. We're making YouTube videos with Luminous. um, I hope to speak again this year. I spoke 2 times at a meetup, but conferences are a bit slow due to the pandemic, or they're online and stuff like that. So I'm hoping I can still get a conference and a meetup in this year, but you have to find the right moment to do it. But of course, it will probably be for me Amplify related. So I think I'm really lucky that I found like one topic that I really liked in AWS, which was Amplify, and I really focused on that. And I also have this 2 year experience with my group with Palmera Bytes, so that also helps. And I just started to blog and started to share it and try to help other people to understand it also. And just by doing that, you can be part of the community and you're contributing to the AWS community. So, and what has come extra to that is now that I always look at the community builder Slack. So I always check, hey, can I answer somebody, help somebody with something, or just check what's going on. And also the Discord of Amplify, I try to be a bit active there. So those are the things that have changed for me. But yeah, that's really about just interacting with people. That makes a difference, because you can be an expert in AWS, but doesn't mean that you're a community builder. When you start to share and things like you're doing now, making videos or whatever you do to share with people, that's where you start helping the community and building it. So I think that's what it is.
Okay. So how do you feel, like, how does this help you, being part of the community, contributing to the community and so on? How does that help you in your job or in any other way?
Yeah, good point. I think it helps me professionally in my own career. I think I'm the only one that is an AWS community builder in my at Luminis. So having that and knowing that Luminis has a really big goal in and becoming more partner, getting a higher partner level with Amazon, this will help me in Luminis also. But it helps you not only at your job but also personally, I think, to get more connections and just broaden your horizons a bit more, because before that it was only me and the people in the Netherlands, where I am now. But now, since then, I've talked to a lot of people of different places, just talking and getting to know them. So that's also nice. um, you get a lot of inspiration and motivation from the people in Slack and from the seminars that we get that are only for us, stuff like that. um, and yeah, I think you get a lot of tips, a lot of help if you need, and you can help a new group of people, I think, that you wouldn't have access to if you want to help them. So it just it makes it more fun, I think, than it was before. So, and also just being acknowledged for the things that you used to do already, and being told, oh, this is the thing that you should be doing. Here's a program with a lot of other people that think like you and want to do it like you, and maybe you guys can do things together. So I think even this now that we're doing, two community builders talking to each other, that's also like a result of that program. And this wouldn't happen if there wasn't that program. So I think it's a really nice initiative from AWS, and yeah, it helps me also in a lot of ways, I think, and also professionally, but also just to make it more fun for myself and get to know more people.
How would you advise some fresh graduates or college students? How should they utilize their time and develop themselves better?
Yeah, good question. I think one of the things I learned in the last few years is there's a lot of people that work and don't do anything on the side. They just work, and often you see these people that are excelling at work, and you think, wow, these people must be using a lot of time of their free time. And maybe that's true. I don't know, but I think even if you could just in your free time, you can set up like a few hours per week. Like I have it, with my programming group. I have on Tuesdays, on Thursdays, and on Sundays 2 hours that I'm just programming and working with them. I'm always just getting better, even though I don't work like too much. I enjoy my life. I try to have a balance. Play games and Netflix and stuff like that. But I have these hours which I'm working on bettering myself. And if you just it's consistently work on it, but don't overwork yourself, you will make progress more than the other people that are not doing anything in your company. And I think that's just like a secret that maybe most people don't know. Like a lot of people are not working on bettering themselves, they're just going to work. And just by being consistent, so you don't have to overwork yourself, don't go working whole weekends. You can, or depending on your dream. Some people, like, I'm not a big CEO of a big company, so they will tell you, work all weekends. But for me, if you want to get um, you know the type of I'm gonna say for myself, the success that I have, or I see people on that I recognize, have success is just about consistency. It's not about overworking. It's about just planning time for your development, for your growth. Just plan it in, and then for the rest of the time, just enjoy your life also, and don't feel guilty about the time that you're not developing yourself, because how do you call it, burnout and stuff like that, those are real problems also, you can really get uh, an issue there if you overwork. So yeah, I think the right balance is important, and consistency is important, and find something you find interesting, because then it's going to be more easy. Like I found Amplify, wow, this is great, and it just time goes by really fast because you really enjoy it and you enjoy talking about it. Then it's something you like, and yeah, you should find that. And if you're doing development, there's so many things you can look into, like front end, back end, machine learning, security, all of these aspects that you can, cloud computing, IoT, whatever. Something that you read and you see, wow, that's interesting. If you can find that and plan something consistently, you will grow even faster than you would expect. Yeah. So that would be my
Oh,
advice.
that's nice. What would you do if you were not doing IT?
Yeah, I would be playing music, I think, because I
Music.
think when I was in high school, I used to play guitar in a band and also in a jazz band, and I almost went to study music instead of IT, but my
Oh,
parents talked me out of it. They told me, no, you should keep it a hobby, and it's not, you don't know for sure if you get a good job and stuff like that. So eventually, my dad also studied IT, so I went in his footsteps.
oh.
But I still, I think I would be doing that if I wasn't,
Okay. So
if
you
I
still
wasn't doing
play?
this. Yeah, a bit, yeah, but as a hobby, so
Okay.
not as anything serious, and that's fine. I'm happy with the choice I made. So
That's good.
nothing against musicians, because if you really like that, also it can be a nice job, I think. Yeah, but
Wow.
that's it. Yeah.
That's nice. You have given good pointers about how one should enter into the Amplify world. Like I've been talking to a lot of people who working with Amplify. Everyone has told me that it used to be very difficult, and now they have made it very easy. And it is a much better product than it was a few days back.
Yeah,
And
I agree with that. Yeah,
a lot of people tried it and gave up maybe for a few years back. And
yeah,
they
yeah.
should try it again.
I would give it a try again. Get the newest version, 5 point something, I don't know, and give it a go again. And also, things in the admin UI, and you can click. You can do things in the console now. You should look it up again. It's a lot of things. Follow the Amplify Twitter, because they immediately tell you what's new, so you can follow that too.
Agree.
Yeah, I would say try it again. Give it a chance.
And also give good advice to students about how they can shape their web career or full stack development career, how where they can start this. You gave some good pointers there. It was really
Oh, thank
nice.
you.
I'm
Yeah,
sure our audience will definitely benefit out of this. Thanks a
yeah, I hope
lot
so.
for your valuable inputs. Really nice.
Thanks for having me. This was my first podcast, so thank you.